Let's make a peppermint snowman. Welcome to Up All Night DIY. I'm Monica. Thanks for joining me. Today I'm joining these talented ladies for a sneak peek at Christmas. Liyana of Liyana DIY, Emily of Farm Charm Chic, and Lori of Lori Blythe DIY. I'll have links to each of their channels as well as the playlist in the description box for you. In the meantime, I'm making this vintage-inspired snowman candy bowl. Let's get into it. To create this wee guy, I'm using a 5.6 foam ball, the bottom portion of a large foam cone, Model Magic, a cardboard to-go soup container, including the lid, and I'll also be using a couple of toothpicks too. So I've cut a large flat spot on one end of the large ball and a slightly smaller flat spot on the other. This will make it easy to stack our pieces like this. Right, so I grab a big handful of clay and I'm going to knead it a wee bit before rolling it nice and flat with my brayer. I'll size the clay to the height of the cone piece and I'm going to cut away the excess. This is going to make it much easier to handle. So I'm going to wrap the clay all the way around the cone piece, and I'm pressing to ensure that there's really good contact. Then I'm going to roll it on the table to smooth it as I go. Once the sides are covered, I'll cover the top and bottom with the leftover clay. I don't have to be super neat here because you're not going to see any of this once we have it all together. I rolled out more clay to cover my ball, and I'm wrapping the clay around the sides, just like I did with the cone piece. It's the same process as before. I'll fill in the gaps with excess clay, pressing and rolling as I go, and using my fingers to blend the clay before covering the top and bottom with clay too. And again, the top and bottom, they don't have to be super neat because they're going to be hidden once this is all together. And now I'm rolling it just to make sure I have a relatively smooth surface. So I'm going to push 3 toothpicks into the top of the cone piece, and then I'll push the ball on top of that. The larger flat side will be on the bottom. And I'm going to fill in that gap between the cone and the ball with some clay. So to do that, I roll a skinny cane of clay, which I'll wrap around the gap, and I'll use my fingers to push it into that space. Now I roll over it with a paintbrush handle to incorporate the new clay into the existing clay, to make it nice and smooth. To make his features, I roll a small ball of clay for his nose, and I'm going to flatten some clay for his cheeks. However, this will be a wee bit thicker than before because I want his cheeks to have some, dimension. So I'm just going to cut out 2 circles, then I'm going to use this tiny little circle cutter to make a crescent shape. And with my fingers, I'm just softening those points just a smidge. I'll pop his cheeks into place, patting them gently with the palm of my hand. This way they have good contact, but I'm not messing up their shape or anything. You feel me? Now let's add his nose. So what I'm going to do is push a toothpick right where I want his nose to go, and then I'll push that clay ball right over top of the toothpick. And I am making sure that the ball is making contact with the clay beneath. To create his earmuffs, I cut slightly larger circles from the clay, and again, the clay's on the thicker side, for a little dimension. And just like with the cheeks, I'm using the palm of my hand to flatten the earmuffs to the side of his head. Okay, so we're going to let him dry overnight, but in the meantime, let's work on his hat. Since the container that will be his hat, has that wax coating that those cardboard to-go containers do, it also had graphics all over it, so I painted it with some white chalk paint. This gives me a nice clean surface for my design. And I'm going to base coat it with a couple of applications of CERAMCOAT Surfboard Blue. I paint the lid as well. I'll come in here and lightly dry brush the container and the lid with CERAMCOAT Watermelon to distress it a bit, and also to pull in that red color. I've cut Merry Christmas from red vinyl with my silhouette, And I'm going to apply it right to the front of the container / his hat. I'll also add some stars to the container as well. You know I love my stars. With a liner brush and white paint, I'll add a drop shadow along the left side of my stars and lettering. This is really going to make them pop. I'm going to add some sprinkles to the hat using a damp toothbrush and white paint by pulling my thumb across the bristles. You get that nice splatter effect. With hot glue, I'll attach the container to the lid to make the hat. Cute. I roll out a cane of clay to trim out the lip of the container so that it both hides the lip and looks like a layer of snow. I'm kind of folding it over the top too, so that some of the clay is on the inside as well as the outside. That should hold it in place and give me, the look I want. And then I'm going to let that dry overnight too. But first, before I do that, I want to give the brim of the hat a snowy appearance. So I'm dabbing the rim with white paint, just kind of catching the edges. Now that everything has dried overnight, I'm going to start with the hat and give the snow on the hat 2 good coats of white paint. Even though the clay is white, it's not that bright snowy white that I want, so I'm painting it. So next we're going to add some glitter, but first I'll apply Mod Podge to the lettering and all around the hat and brim. Then I dab the clay with some Mod Podge and sprinkle it with some white iridescent glitter. I do this in sections. It helps to contain the mess. So I decided I wanted to add some of this chunky cellophane glitter to the snow, for extra sparkle. Now onto the snowman. He's going to get 2 really good, healthy coats of CERAMCOAT white. Now to give this guy some dimension, I dry brush him with Surfboard Blue. This will catch and highlight those bumps and make them work for us. You know what I'm saying. His earmuffs will also get 2 coats of Surfboard Blue to match his hat. With the sponge dauber, I pounce his cheeks and nose with CERAMCOAT watermelon. I like the effect that the dauber gives it. There's some of that white peeking through. I outline his eyes with my liner brush and Hippo Grey. Then I fill it in using a smaller flat brush. He gets hippo eyebrows and lashes. Now with my flat brush, I'll give him a wonky smile in watermelon. I'm adding a white swirl to his earmuffs with a stamp, then when that's dry, I'll stamp over it with watermelon. I'm just going slightly askew, so you'll see some of the white beneath the red. I dot his eyes and cheeks with a white highlight, and I'm just using the back of a skewer for this. I add a line shadow with Surfboard under his eyes and right here under his mouth. Now I dot his cheeks and nose with watermelon, then I'm going to shake on some red glitter. It needs to be a little sparkly. Boop. And let's add some blue glitter to his earmuffs. I pounce him with a coat of Mod Podge to seal him, and really I should have done this before I added the glitter. I got a little ahead of myself. I also sprayed him with a coat of clear matte sealer to keep the glitter from shedding. I have this lovely red striped glittery ribbon, which I'm going to glue around his neck as a collar. I'm using both 3-in-1 glue and a dot of hot glue. Check out this ribbon, you guys. We're going to make a bow tie for him from this gorgeous ribbon. So to make the bow tie, I twist 2 strips from this gold ribbon together with a pipe cleaner. And then I'm going to add this vintage looking poinsettia to the center. Once again, I'm using both 3-in-1 glue and hot glue, this time to attach his hat. And I'm just going to hold that in place for a few seconds. To embellish his hat, another poinsettia and a glittery blue star. These are just those like mini decorations that you find. Aren't they cute? As a final touch, I'll fill his hat with crystal bowl filler and these adorable peppermint picks. These are so cute. I'm probably going to add real peppermint sticks for the holidays, but these will do in the meantime. I hope you enjoyed a sneak peek at Christmas and my Happy Peppy Snowman candy bowl. Please be sure to check out our hosts Liyana, Emily, and Lori's channels and tell them that I sent you and show them some love. You'll find links in the description box as well as a link to the playlist and a list of my supplies. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe and all that good stuff. Stay creative, my friends. Thanks for hanging with me. See you next time. Up all night with Monica.